Welcome to episode 29 of the XrmToolCast. In this episode, Jonas and I present our top 10 tools for CDS developers. We also talk about the humbleness of the Swedes, the supposed home of the imposter syndrome, if you ask Jonas, and how Americans like to blow stuff up to celebrate their independence. So, sit back and enjoy this dev-heavy episode with tools coming out of our ears. So, let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the XrmToolCast. With me, your host, Daryl, always raising the bar, and my co-host, Jonas, the XrmToolBox Tools App Father. There we go, App Father. Rap. There we go. That's the name. It's a long name. It's gotten longer this summer.
Yeah, well, father, maybe it's like stepfather or something. I mean, we all know Tengi is the father.
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to encroach on his territory. You keep on coming up with more apps.
And I keep trying to make sure, sort of emphasize that I'm not trying to do that. Maybe I am not succeeding very well there.
Maybe not. I don't know. So yes, yeah, we need to get Tangy back on again, just to get an update on the state of the XrmToolBox or something.
Absolutely, we should do that.
Yeah, well,
stay tuned.
I'll have to talk to him, see how we do. So, yep. So this is our first episode where we're not going to introduce a guest because we don't really have one. Although no, we did do one where I was on my tool and I think I talked the whole time. So that was one that was like I guess this is kind of the second one. I think. So, second one without a guest. So it's just you and I. We're going to hold down the fort. We don't have anyone interesting to talk to, so we're going to try to make this as entertaining as possible.
Or maybe it's just that we know that, well, no one else can sort of come to our level on this topic anyway. So is that
okay.
It? No.
Maybe. Yeah, there's no one else to invite. That would be good enough. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that could be a possibility.
Jesus, that does not go well with my Swedish sort of built-in humbleness. You are not to brag ever. That's like the death penalty. So, okay.
Yeah, is Swedish known for that? Is Sweden known for that?
Yeah, we never. I mean, that's why we have such a hard time with Americans who they are born and raised bragging.
Yes.
And we're like, you shouldn't think you are someone.
Yeah.
That's sort of the ground rule of all Swedishness.
Yeah, that, okay. I mean, I've had other cultures. I definitely have experienced the, I don't know anything. I'm so humble to actually meet you. And like the person has got like 10 years of experience and like 40 tool or 40 things they've gone. Like, it's like, no, come on. Like, you've got a little bit of room to say, I've had some experience in that field or something, but yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
I think Sweden is sort of the home of the imposter syndrome.
Okay. All right.
It was founded here.
Okay.
We invented it.
Invented it. Well, at least you're confident to overcome that then.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Did we have a topic for today?
We did have a topic. So,
or just chatting?
Our topic today is basically the top 10 CDS developer tools is what I was thinking of, or XRM developer tools. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't give a whole lot of instructions about the list. So your list, you may have gone off on a slightly different tangent than what I came on my list. But I tried to go through and think of what am I using like the most? Like if I had a little stopwatch to say how often am I using a tool, like what would I do the most? And then the other thing I'm putting in there maybe also is time saver as well. So maybe I don't use something a lot, but it's a huge time saver. So that could be another category for that as well. So yeah, those are kind of the things I think of as a CDS developer. What am I doing? And I've got one that's not model driven apps. It's Canvas apps. So I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know. I guess I'll include it. I'll include it.
We'll be liberal there.
We'll be liberal there. So anyway, I've got no particular order to mine. As assume you don't either.
No, I don't.
Okay, so no order. We're just going to go about kind of what we wrote down today. So, do you want to go first, since I'm going to try to buck the humble trend and let someone else go first as an American?
Yeah, and then I will sort of work on my humbleness there. Of course, my first tool, the thing that's I think saved me the most time. I know you tweeted something nasty at me the other day when you said if you have to use it, you're not working properly with unit tests, and that's very true. It's very, very true. I'm
Yes.
getting there.
Yes.
But of course, the plugin trace
I
viewer.
already know what it is. It's on, and it's in my list too. But yeah, keep it going.
Yep, it's the plugin trace viewer.
Plugin
That's
tracer.
yes.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge go-to. Even, I mean, yeah, there's stuff that happens all the time after the fact, where it's really nice to have that plugin trace stuff, and you also have to make sure that you've done a good job of actually having the automatic logging set up as well to be able to handle that as well. So
Absolutely.
I'm assuming you may talk about another tool for that later on. So I'll try not to steal your thunder for that.
Yeah, good idea. I'm writing that down. Um, no, but I'd like to say, I mean, Ribbon Workbench is there, and that's not one of my tools I'm mentioning, but sort of the effect of that has been that, well, Microsoft sort of realized, okay, we don't have to make the Ribbon developer experience any
Yeah.
better because
Yep.
there's the Ribbon
Yep.
Workbench. And I'd like to think that that's the same situation with the plugin trace viewer, because the plugin trace log, since it was exposed in the user interface, it sucked at the beginning and it's still sucking.
Yep.
And you really
Yep.
cannot use it. And I claim
No.
responsibility for that fully. That's because we have the plugin trace viewer instead.
Yeah. I can see that. Sometimes I want to go back to the days where Microsoft just bought everybody that did something good and then use it for their own, because they
yes.
could have bought your tool, they could have bought Ribbon Workbench and then just rebranded
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I wonder what the value of open source free tools are. Could I
I don't
sort of
know.
retire after that?
I don't know. Not that I think about it. Maybe that's why they haven't bought you. Maybe if you created another company and then you
absolutely.
started to release under that, maybe
Put
they'd
my
actually
tools
think
under
about
there.
buying you. So,
And start charging for the use of them as well.
yeah,
Then
that
they
could be,
realize it's
yes.
valuable.
Of course,
Okay,
this whole
good idea.
idea of buying things also gave us source safe back in the day too, which is like the worst source control program ever. But all right,
Yes.
off topic. Let's go on. So,
But now they bought GitHub.
yes, I'm glad that source safe is not on here. And actually, GitHub, could that have made the list? I don't know. Beats me. But anyway, I'm gonna go. You already did one of mine, so I will just cross over that. So the next one I have on my list is Notepad++.
Oh.
It's not necessarily directed at all towards anything specific to the CDS developer at all, but I use it all the time, every day, taking notes, easy to open up your error messages and everything else in the tool. And then the huge thing is there's plugins you can get for formatting XML and formatting JavaScript and TypeScript and I guess not TypeScript, but JavaScript and
it kind of sounds like no one told you about VS Code.
Well, VS Code's on my list too, but this is just so much lighter and so much easier. I don't edit it. I'm just looking at it.
Okay. I've actually gone from Notepad++ or Sublime Text or TextPad or whatever I've been using to only using VS Code for that.
Even just taking
I think
taking notes and things like that, you'd use VS Code for that?
No, for taking notes, I've reverted back to Notepad.
Okay.
I mean, for the really short stuff, I need to sort of copy paste something.
All right. So
Windows.
So back to the day where Notepad is you lose you have a Windows update in the middle of something overnight and you lose the note you had because it doesn't save it. You go out to Notepad and Notepad++. You Swedish people, I don't know you sometimes. So, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, usually for taking notes, it's OneNote, of course. for notes that are to be persisted.
I never have gotten into OneNote. I've tried and I tried. I'm I just don't.
You just have to persist. Try harder. Try more.
I don't want to. Why do I not want to try more?
Well, okay, but that's not really very CDS developer tool.
No, it's not. But I use it all the time, so it's on my list, and that's why it's my list and not your list.
Sure. Now I was talking about OneNote is not really developer stuff. So Notepad++ absolutely qualifies, I think.
Yep. Okay. So what's your next one?
Since I'm not going in any order here, I realized I should mention CodeMaid, which is
CodeMate or CodeMate?
No, CodeMaid.
Oh, CodeMaid.
Like,
okay, all right. Yes, CodeMaid. All right.
Yeah, like the one person coming into my code and cleaning it up.
Yes.
So it's like a resharper-ish thing to just structure the code. When I looked it up now to see who created it, which is some Steve Cadwallader. That's a very funny name. He lives in Indiana, by the way.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah. It does a lot of more stuff, but I'm mainly using it to structure my code. And I think it's really nice to, well, when you start writing and then you realize you have no idea in which order the different methods and everything comes. So you can use it to tidy it up a bit.
Yeah, so I got sucked into the world of ReSharper, and like I've just become so ingrained in everything that I can't like turn it off. And sometimes I wonder if it causes me performance heartaches, and sometimes it doesn't quite work right either. And so I'm wondering if I need to persist, as you say, and look down for something else. Is CodeMaid is it a good replacement for part of the functionality and refactoring and stuff like that, or not?
I'm really not good with ReSharper. I tried it at one point, but then the things I used it for then are, which is basically make suggestions to my coding style and so on. And those features have become available in Visual Studio out of the box that I used. Of course, there are more. I realized that, but I never got into ReSharper like that.
All right, cool. I just thought I didn't have ReSharper make my list, so I guess that makes sense. But anyway, okay. All right, so let's go in CodeMaid. Keep your code going, and that handles like pretty much any language that you're working in, right?
I guess so. Yeah, I'm mainly using it for C#.
Okay. All right. Yep. Don't know if it does TypeScript and JavaScript and stuff like that. Maybe. Okay. All right. So my next one, I'm just gonna blanket put Visual Studio as my next tool. Although it's kind of some of these I have like I really want to, and I'm starting to get into VS Code as well. So this is one of the ones where I'm giving one tool, but it's like there's another tool I know I need to go through and look at.
Yep, absolutely. It was on my list as well. I mean, if we're stretching beyond the CDS specific tools, of course, Visual Studio is there as well.
Yeah. All right. So what's your next one?
I have to mention this. Actually, I don't know if it works with the current version of XrmToolBox.
Okay.
But in that case, I really need to go just fork that repository and fix it. It's the plugin auto updater when you're working with plugins. And this is the silliest little tool. Have you tried it? Do you know what it is?
I think I tried it once, and it took a lot longer to set up than I wanted it to, and I never got around to continuing to use it. So
then I don't know what you tried, because this tool, you just click the button, you select a file to watch, which is a plugin assembly.
Yep.
Which is you probably in your bin debug folder because you're working it during sort of iterative development.
Okay.
And it watches that DLL, and when you're in Visual Studio, you just F6 to compile your code, and then by the time you have switched to the browser to test it in CRM, it has already been updated there.
Yep.
So it just watches the assembly and updates the registration in. And it's such a small, stupid sort of one-dimensional tool, but it has saved me 2.5 gazillion of clicks.
Well, again, this goes back to our completely different approach to how we do our C# development for CDS, and I do all my unit testing stuff, and then once I think everything's good and I pass on my test, then I deploy it like once, maybe twice, where you're spending all their time doing your pushes and then testing it out there and looking at the logs and seeing if it did what you wanted it to do and that kind of stuff. So
I mean, somehow my development style is still trying it with the platform.
The problem I think is that both of our approaches work good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. I mean, it works good enough, so I never really got around to changing my approach.
Yeah, I thought about naming my company that. Good Enough Consulting. Yeah, it's good enough.
That could be a Swedish company name, actually.
Maybe, yeah. And maybe Barely Good Enough. Is that a bit better? No, not beats me.
And by the way, shout out here as well. This tool is created by my former and present colleague, Alexei Shitikov.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Shout out to him. We'll have to put him in the show notes.
Yes.
So I'm going to go something along the same lines as what you're talking about, and I'm going to say the WebResource Manager, the tool for the XrmToolBox. I use that all the time. It deploys both my JavaScript and my TypeScript and my map files for me. And the thing that I need to do that I just I should have done at the beginning of this project, so I could have saved the amount of time I did mainly doing is I should have wrote it to update things automatically, just like that tool does. Because it's there's so many times where I'm updating it, recompiling, and the one thing that would be weird is I'm not sure if I do a force recompile everything, that's going to force every single web resource file to get updated, which is, I guess it doesn't hurt anything. But yeah, that's one thing that's kind of weird. But yeah, I would, yeah, I need to update that tool just to say, hey, go ahead and whenever you update this file, push it automatically, because that's the one thing that's missing in it.
You're confusing me.
Why am I confusing?
Because you write your code with your unit test, trying out, and then when you're done, you deploy.
That's C# stuff.
The web resources, you do
yes.
exactly what I do with plugins.
Yeah, well, the web resources, it's not quite as nice of a world, I guess you could say. And the amount of time required to set up all the unit testing doesn't apply to most projects that I'm on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing that kind of hurts those stuff. Plus, yeah. So. So that's I'm not a purist in that sense, which could be good, it could be bad. You could argue about it one way or the other. So yes, I lean more towards the just iterative approach for the web resources. So as bad as that is, it just seems to be good enough for me.
Okay. So it's my turn. Let's see. Oh. I might go a bit outside of the actual development side, but I am using a lot the Power Platform build tools.
Okay.
And in combination with I don't know the name of it currently, but the Whale-Hamsey tool set for Azure DevOps.
Okay.
And that's just for automating deployments and builds and stuff like that. So yeah, that fits my list.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. That I still need to get more into the Azure DevOps world, ASDops as I like to call it. But so a few clients.
When you do, I'm going to start using Latebound and create unit tests.
Okay, all right, that's probably a fair enough for that.
We can make like New Year's resolution to each other or something.
We could. So on that note, I'll just bring up my next tool as being the Latebound generator, as being a top 10 tool for developers to be using to go through and generate all your Latebound C# types and not have to worry about missing any sort of issues with your typing or the capitalization of or the casing and all that kind of fun stuff with logical names and who knows what. So, Latebound generator. That's my top 10 list. I'm assuming your Latebound might be in yours.
Absolutely. I mean, since you brought it up,
it doesn't have to be. I mean, you could have other reasons.
No, but I mean, regardless of sort of the ambitions and the New Year's resolutions, I'm still using it a lot. So. Well, the limited time that I'm actually doing development these days, but I am using it.
All right, you're getting out of that route.
So that's it, which means the Latebound constant generator for XrmToolBox, if anyone was wondering.
Right. I'm assuming our listeners know enough about that since we've talked about it quite a bit. So yeah, we had a whole episode devoted to it. So yeah, we should. If you haven't heard it, you should go back and listen to it. It's a great episode. We argue and I don't know if we declared a winner, but we all know that I win, so it's okay.
Yes, I know.
All right. My next tool for the developer is, and this is really for the OCD developer, the obsessive compulsive disorder type of developer, and that's the attribute manager. Being able to go in after someone else has created a field, and probably just in dev, it probably isn't worth to go through and do it in all your environments. But in dev, they created a field, they named it wrong, or you created the field, you named it wrong, or it was wrong type.
Yeah, so it's always someone else created a field.
Yes, okay, yeah, I'll try to be more Swedish and say when I create it wrong. So it is tremendously helpful to go through and fix those silly mistakes.
It doesn't help. I mean, if someone did it in dev, why not just delete it and recreate it?
Because it's a lot of work. If someone has gone through and added it to 3 or 4 forms, they've added it to a workflow, you've added it to a plugin, you've added it to the system views.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the migration of data, and that shouldn't be an issue in dev. So I was kind of
Correct.
fishing at you have it in production as well and doing it there, which means you're unmanaged in production and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Correct. Correct. Although you could create the managed solutions in order required to do the work in dev, which is weird. I haven't heard anyone actually doing it because it sounds like it's a huge, well, it sounds like it's really annoying. It should be as simple as each step you create a new managed solution in the tool in dev, and then when you go to the next environment, you apply those solutions in order during the data migration, either through the tool or manually. That should be all that's required, but I have never tried it before. We'll see.
So it's me again, right?
It's you again, yeah. If you have to ask, it's you. That's the way it works.
Stack Overflow.
Stack Overflow, all right.
Or basically Googling in general.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
It
we did
happens
a
a lot.
whole session on that.
Yeah, I somehow realized I don't know everything yet. So
Yeah. Well,
there's
I think
Stack Overflow.
it's always a joy to go out and search and try to find an answer to something and realize, hey, you already posted it 3 years ago.
Yes, it has happened. Absolutely.
Yep, that's a good one. Okay, so I'll take that as a tool. I thought about it, but I was like, I'll skip that one for now. I feel like because so little has changed in the core platform lately outside of the UI changes. Like, I mean, the plugin platform stuff hasn't changed really at all. No. And then, I mean, you've got all the security stuff, but who cares about security? And then there's the actual like UI stuff. So besides that, like, not a whole lot has changed. And the UI stuff is like, okay, I need to know how to get this and how to get that and how to store it. And so you got like 3 or 4 questions I think you'd ask about. But
actually,
then after that, like, all the questions have been asked and answered.
Yeah, but I think I have to sort of clarify this. Now that you mention it, I don't think it's as much CDS specific questions I have there. It's more development in general.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I can make sense. All right. I can buy that too, because I think I probably use it 4 or 5 times a day for just little TypeScript questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? So, okay. Yep. I'll give it to you. I won't argue with you at all. It's a good one. It's a good one. All right. So my next one is definitely specific to CDS, and that's the Visual Studio Accelerator / do the XRM framework / XRM Unit Test framework.
You know, you didn't call your name by its correct name. Visual Studio Solution Accelerator is called.
But I call it Visual Studio Accelerator.
Yeah,
that's because I wrote it out wrong. I was just making sure that you're on your toes. So yeah, Visual Studio Solution Accelerator for the XrmToolBox that helps to So I mean, every client I go to that it's greenfield, I just immediately run that tool, and then I've got my solution up and running. I've got a plugin up and running. I've got unit test for the plugin up and running, and I've got logging for the plugin already up and running in a matter of, that's less than a minute, rather than having to try to, with the right naming conventions. I always get perturbed when a developer from a consulting firm walks in and names everything after their consulting firm when they come in to do work. And I'm like, if I have someone come and like redo my roof, they don't put like their name in my roof. Like, it's my roof. Like, it's not theirs. Like, that's the name of the game. So stop naming it after you, unless it's something that is like used among multiple clients. And okay, all right, that can be named after you. But if you go out and do this custom entity for this specific project, give it the same friggin' name as the publisher as with the default publisher that they want you to use for their name. So don't change it. So anyway, that's my soapbox.
But I have to ask, since you're talking about how you sort of, when you come to a customer, you set this to start with, don't your customers, I mean, our customers often have sort of opinions on third-party tools, and we don't want proprietary frameworks and so on. We had a conversation on the podcast a while back with Scott Durr as well. So sort of like, don't bring all your own stuff. We have our development standards and so on. But I mean, do you ever face that situation, or is it always Daryl and his tiny clients who don't have a say?
I usually I have 2. I guess I've got 3. So there is the client that isn't that hey, we've got our own framework stuff. Great, I'll use whatever you got. That's fine. I don't need to do that until I get to the point where whatever they have is really not very good, and then I'll just bring in the parts and pieces that I need to supplement it. And then there's the, hey, we've got nothing. This is the start of it one. So that's fairly easy to say, hey, let's just go ahead and use this stuff. And then the other one would be the ones that we've got 15 different things and they all suck. That's the other one that I've walked into as well. Because I was at one client, I think they had three or four different plugin based classes that they used amongst all their different plugins. Because each new firm came in, brought their own thing, named it their own way, and two of them were completely different in how they, like, the base organization service that they got back out of the plugin class, and so you had to be careful when we were refactoring which was the base plugin class and what type of organization service it actually was using, all kind of fun stuff. So yeah, I would say those are the three types of clients that I've seen. The client where they already have their own framework is rather unusual for what I've worked with, but that's my experience. So, a good question. I like that one.
So then it's time for my number 7.
Yeah.
And given the type of work I'm usually doing, plugin registration tool.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you also have the automatic registration tool for the assemblies and the plugin registration tool.
Yeah, the automatic only sort of refreshes.
Okay. So yeah, it doesn't actually do
when you're setting up your
the steps.
Okay. Yeah.
So is this the out of the box SDK version, or is this the XrmToolBox version?
I have used the SDK version once or twice.
Okay, so this is the XrmToolBox version.
It's the one in XrmToolBox. I mean, since XrmToolBox is always running anyway, so yeah, I'm using that one. It works most of the time. When it doesn't, you have to resort, and didn't mean that. Sorry, Microsoft, to the SDK version.
Yeah, and it is nice to have it automatically authenticated already and not have to be redoing that all the time. So yes.
Yeah, and also it gets improved. We've seen, I think actually Tanguy supplied a pull request that had the best function ever to filter plugin registration tool to only show unmanaged assemblies.
Yes.
I mean, how many times do you want to see all those Microsoft assemblies, especially now since the first party apps are, I mean, all their plugins are visible.
Yep.
You don't want to see that. So that's a great improvement, I think. So
yeah,
mainly it's maintained by another ex-colleague, Imran Akram.
Okay.
But the code, of course, is from Microsoft when they last released a plugin registration tool with the source code that was for 2011. So
no, it wasn't before 2011. It was, for 2011, did you say?
No, it was for the 2011 version.
Okay, Okay, I said before. And I was like, no, it wasn't before.
No, when 2013 came, they stopped releasing the source code.
They stopped releasing it, source code.
Yep.
And they had someone go through and probably like an intern feels like go through and upgrade it to, or make a Windows presentation foundation version, WPF version of it, and it lost some of the functionality that we use. I was like, no, why did you do that? So yeah.
And it got awfully white at once.
Yes, it did.
Very white.
But whatever. I guess we need to have a dark theme for it, don't we?
Yes.
All right, my next one here is the Script Finder / Form Libraries Manager. I'm combining two tools in one because they're very similar in what I use them for. So I'm kind of cheating here, but I'm going to combine them into one. So these are two tools for the XrmToolBox, both from Mr. Tanguy himself. The Script Finder is basically a tool that lets you know where your script is being used, so where your JavaScript file is being referenced. And that is hugely, hugely important when I come into a client that has no idea what they have and what they're using and where it's used at.
So you're using it for documentation of an existing implementation in that case?
I am not using it for document. I'm using it in replacement of the documentation.
Exactly.
Even if there is documentation, I don't trust it anyways. No. So, but yeah, I just use it to figure out where. If I change this, what all does it affect? Where all could it possibly cause an issue? Where all does it maybe need to get tested and all that kind of fun stuff? So that's the Script Finder, and then the very next piece for that is the Forms Library Manager, which allows you to register a library and multiple forms at once if you want, and then just as importantly, go through and update and edit the onload on save events. Right. So this was probably a bigger deal back before we had the new UI for the administration for going through and doing the form editing, and it's a little bit faster than the old, but the old was just so slow to go through and do that sort of editing. I still use it and it still works. So yeah, that's kind of, those are my scripting. I kind of could figure that out as one tool, but that's what I'm doing with all my scripting stuff outside of the WebResource Manager, those tools.
Okay. Speaking of documentation, you know the two versions of documentation that exist?
The one that doesn't exist and the one that's wrong?
Yes.
Yes.
Wrong. I was going to say outdated, but yeah.
Outdated.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like there's nothing worse than no comment for a complicated piece of code besides a comment that isn't right.
Yeah. Totally.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And I did say for a complicated piece of code, because if it's super complicated, or super simple or marginally simple, it should be marginally simple. You shouldn't need a comment anyway. So anyway, all right, next one. What do you got? Down to our last two.
I've done 7. I've got 3 left.
You got 3 left?
Yeah,
okay.
You got 3 left as well.
I think I said, hey, I've got one of yours already. When we did which one did we do? I can't remember now.
Yeah, plug and trace viewer, the first one.
Plug and trace viewer, yes, yeah. So
you have to come up with another one.
I've got another one. That's fine.
Okay. So I'm with the Metadata browser.
Okay.
It's in the same vicinity of the script finder, but I'm using it instead of browsing the system to see how is this built up. Metadata browser is so much faster, and I can see, well, actually, I can see all the information I need to see, which you cannot in the especially not in the Maker portal yet. I'm sorry, Microsoft. There's still some way to go to get there. But yeah, Metadata browser, it's a handy tool.
Okay. The other thing I would think of doing for that is, I guess I use is just the typings in the early bound generator, but that assumes that you've actually generated those types that you want to look at as well. But so I kind of cheat with that. But sometimes I do resort back to that tool as well. So yeah, I can do that. All right. So my next one is not specific at all, but it's the LinqPad. Or I'm going to add in, so this is the one where I need to get better at it, and that's PowerShell. But so those are like a scripting tool. So, but LinqPad is primarily what I use, although I know I need to use PowerShell. So if someone is listening and they know PowerShell, they probably don't need to learn LinqPad. But if you don't know anything and you're a C# person, it's super easy and nice to pick up LinqPad. So yeah, so that's mine is LinqPad. My next one.
Okay.
Have you used LinqPad at all?
I looked at it once many years ago. No.
Okay. All right. So
it's one of those new things.
it's always, I always use it for doing just short scripting stuff. Like, what's this date format? If I want it in this format, how do I go through and do that? So I don't have to spin up a program to do that. It's just pretty much instantaneous.
So this is where you could use, that's not one of my tools, but the Code Now by Alex Schlega.
Yeah.
Which is an XrmToolBox tool where you can just write your C# code and execute it.
Yeah.
And you can even create an executable file from it. It's fun for those who want to let it in the hands of the users and see if you got your security roles and check.
Yep. That's okay.
That was not one of my tips because I think it's lethal. And I'm not using it. But number 9.
All right. Number 9.
Yeah. Another self-promotion FetchXML builder.
All right.
I am using it for development. Mm-hmm. I'm using it to generate code. Okay, I changed the code, but I'm using it to generate code, to investigate the system, and all the time. So I practice what I preach.
Yeah, you do. That is, I think we both do, actually, don't we?
Or actually, I did a session at the community summit in Barcelona, within air quotes, which was virtual the other week.
Okay.
And one of the sessions was best tips for XrmToolBox. And then I had to start with apologizing. Yes, there will be self-promotion, and me being Swedish and that,
Yeah.
But sort of the sentiment of it is that, I mean, both you and I, we create tools that we need.
Mm-hmm.
And when they don't really perform the way they should, we improve them and we fix them and we make sure that they work exactly the way I need it to work. I'm I'm not creating tools for the good of the universe. I'm creating tools because I need them, which means I use them, which means they become my favorite tools. I
Agreed.
mean, it's sort of
Agreed.
plain logic.
Plus, since you created it, you don't have to spend any time learning it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a vital point there.
Yep, that helps. All right, so I guess I'm on number 9 because I have to do another one. Is what you said?
Yes.
All right, so number
You have
9,
to.
I'll do another self promotion. This is my Canvas app one, and that's the Canvas app packager. If you're doing any sort of development in Canvas apps and you're doing any sort of complicated coding at all or a large program at all in the Canvas apps, large apps at all in it, the Canvas app packager is unbelievable, being able to extract out and check that into source control, be able to see what's changed and what's different, and be able to go back and roll back to a previous version of just that particular function if you want, or whatever. You don't get that level of or even being able to see where a variable is used throughout your program.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to do that within the actual app itself. So Canvas app packager, highly recommend it.
So can you use it? I mean, the version controlling. Can you use it to track visual changes? I mean, with the controls you lay out on the screens and so on. Is it possible to follow that, or is it too sort of complex to look into?
Well, each time you add a control and then delete it, you'd be adding a file and deleting the file.
Okay.
So that would be kind of weird. But each time you move a control around, you'd see the X and the Y functions change each time, and you'd be able to see, oh, here's when we change this, here's when we change that, and each control is a single file. So yeah, you'd be able to see that fairly easily, I guess, a lot better than you would otherwise.
Okay. And if you just change the on select and everything breaks, you can see what it was before.
Yep. See what was it before and what is it now, and okay, this is what happened, this is what potentially caused the issue, and you can narrow it down. Or the fun thing is to try something and realize, oh, this is totally wrong, I didn't need to do that, and try to go back and fix it. So yeah, that's fun too. Or if you have two people that are working on the same tool and you want to merge it together, you can kind of see what changes they made, what changes you made, and work on that together. So
that's nice.
Yep.
Good. So for my final, since we had a few overlapping tools here,
okay.
I get to take my number 10 here, my last tip, which is a tool I've never used. I've seen a GIF of it.
Okay.
And it's Canvas related. It's Alex Schlega released today. It's still not published in the XrmToolBox tool library, but it might be when this show is released. The Canvas app code reuse tool. So you can use it to, if you have code that you're using and you don't want to sort of put buttons on hidden screens with on select formulas that you can use from other different places. This is like a templating tool. So in your on select, you write your code placeholder, and then you can start this tool, and it will inject the code block in all places where that is. I think that's the story behind it. I just read the article, and it looks kind of interesting.
Okay, so I'm hearing this is like a snippet. For
absolutely. It has to be. I mean, it can't. The result still has to be. I'm speculating here, but the result still has to be that the code you are pushing in through this tool into your Canvas app is still duplicated in the different places you're using it. But at least you can use it to sort of set it up properly. I think so. If not, Alex, so please tell me I'm wrong if I got it wrong.
All right. So this is actually code to help keep things dry then, sort of, because like you've got one spot where it's defined, but it's being used in multiple places. Then
the sort of over time maintainability of it, I'm not sure about, but I'm definitely going to try that tool out. And it looked so interesting. I'm glad it got a spot on my top 10 list.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm on to my last one here, which theoretically is my 11th one, since we had a little bit of overlap. But it's one that actually came up from the enabler himself. Do you know who that is? You know who that is. George Dubinsky. Yes. Maybe our listeners don't, but George Dubinsky, he posted something in our Slack channel. It was like, let's see, what was it? Control undo, copy, control redo. He's like, how many times do you do that during the day? And I was like, well, I do sort of that because I don't want to undo everything, and then before I redo everything, like push the wrong keystroke, and then all of a sudden I've lost everything that I undid that I wanted to keep. So, as fun as it is to have like an infinite undo list in Visual Studio, sometimes that could, if you're not careful, you could hurt yourself. So, so I always recommend having a clipboard manager, and I use Ditto for mine, but you can use whatever you want. Ditto's free and works really well for what I need it to, but being able to copy and have multiple things copied there and be able to go back and say, oh, I copied this, 6 times ago. What was it? And be able to quickly grab that and reuse that. I think it's a huge performance boost for any developer, and even non-developers. It can be very, very helpful for that.
So Daryl, are you in front of your computer now?
Yes.
Could you press Windows key and V?
Windows key V. Okay.
Yeah. Does anything pop up on your screen?
Can't show history.
Okay.
See all your copied items.
Probably haven't activated it. It's available in Windows.
Right. So I'm not going to turn this on.
So you have the clipboard history in Windows native.
Okay. So you're saying I don't need to do. When was this added?
I have no idea.
All right. And then what are the see, I had the same sort of issue when I dealt with screenshots, trying to find a replacement screenshot tool, and Windows.
You're not using Snagit?
Well, no, I use Snagit only when I want to actually open up the Snagit editor thing and add like fun little icons. But I actually use Greenshot because I want to be able to push one tool, select one area, let go, and have it automatically be copied to my desktop and copied to my clipboard. So if I want to paste an email, I can, or if I want to attach it to something, I can, and nothing else that the out-of-the-box stuff doesn't do that, and Snagit doesn't do that. It takes forever to load and stuff. I want it to be instantaneous. So
there's something wrong with your Snagit.
No, it takes a little bit while to load. It takes 4 or 5 seconds because it automatically loads the editor each time. I don't want it to load the editor.
Okay. Yeah, I think there are settings for that, but at least I've noticed with Snagit is that it takes time if you have a video running.
No, okay.
Then it gets confused. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Snagit.
Yeah, okay. I do use Snagit, but not for my default. Not for my default.
So a clipboard manager like Ditto, or perhaps the built-in.
Or apparently I need to try the built-in Windows one. So,
yeah.
But use it. Turn it on apparently because mine is not turned on. So I'll have to maybe I'll have to turn it on a little bit. I'm gonna put I pushed the turn on button now, and funny part is it shows Ditto. Oh, okay, cool. That is what I just copied. All right, cool.
Okay.
Oh, I will give that a shot. Now I need to learn how to paste out of that though. But anyway, that's probably a different episode.
So that's 20 tools.
It's 20 plus some. 20 plus some because we kind of overlapped a little bit and redid some stuff, I think, isn't it? Or is it just 20 exactly? Maybe it's 20 exactly.
It's 20 exactly since we didn't allow any
we kind of
and I've got some stats here because I actually promoted or I highlighted 3 of my own tools. You highlighted 4 of your own, so that shows I'm the humble Swede and you're the bragging American.
Dang straight.
Yeah,
nothing.
And then a couple from Microsoft and
Okay.
Interesting split here.
Okay, so while we're thinking of this humbleness and this difference in dichotomy of American and Sweden here, we just had our 4th of July, our Independence Day celebration. Do you? I'm assuming that you celebrate your day as well as a national holiday in Sweden, or not?
Absolutely, but we have another date actually. The rest of the world is allowed to use different dates.
Oh yeah, of course.
Doesn't all have to be in 4th of July.
Yes, so of course.
Ours is on June 6th, and that's like the Swedish National Day. And we're celebrating some king a bunch of 100 years ago probably signed some document or conquered Norway or gave Norway away or something. We have no idea what we're celebrating, and that's
a day you celebrate.
Why. Okay, we get a day off from work. We don't know why, and we hang our flags on our houses, but that's it.
How big of a deal? So you celebrate it by hanging your flags in your houses? Is that like the
well, just putting the flags up?
That's the primary way.
And where you have
celebrate.
a flagpole. Yeah.
So
And then of course there's the king and the royal family do something somewhere and are on TV and so. Well,
okay,
but it's
interesting.
we don't know. And then we have Norway next door that are celebrating May 17th when they were liberated from Nazi Germany, and they know how to celebrate. We don't. We're just like, it's a day off from
Okay.
work.
We we primarily celebrate our Independence Day by blowing stuff up. Do you not do that?
No, we don't do that a lot. But I heard that you weren't allowed to have any fireworks. Or was that just different states or something?
It was actually by city. The city I live
Okay.
in canceled theirs. The city that I border, like just 2 miles away, had theirs.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, do you have Halloween shops that open up at all in Sweden?
Not
At
specific
all?
shops for
Celebrate
Halloween,
anything?
but unfortunately, the whole tradition of Halloween has reached Sweden as well. Since it's actually like the last 10 years it exploded. And I think it's just a
Okay.
stupid sort of, but I mean, it's a artificial holiday for us.
Yeah.
We have no tradition there. We're just doing what we see on TV from US.
Oh, okay. All right. Copycats.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So, but for us, like we have like Halloween stores that they open up just for
Mhm.
1 month in some abandoned store, and then they close down again. That's it. They don't. I mean, they're not around year long at all. But we have the same exact thing for for our
Yeah.
Independence Day, where we have fireworks shops that open up
Right.
just for the month to sell us a whole bunch of cheap Chinese fireworks that we use to blow things up, and have fun doing it.
So,
So.
yeah. So could you sort of segue this conversation back into the CDS developer tooling topic we're on, or should we just like call it a night?
Okay. I have a tool that I used. How about that? A tool that I used this year. So it's on
Oh,
I'm a developer tool, but it's kind of interesting. I bought a electric lighter.
okay.
It's a USB powered electric lighter.
Okay.
And it's flexible, kind of like so you can like put it inside a candle at some weird angle if you want to, and you
I
charge
thought it
it
was
via
for
USB.
the times when you are too busy working, so you have no time to go out for a smoke.
No, well, I don't smoke, and I don't even know if you can light it very well for the smoke. It's primarily like for lighting like candles and stuff, but it works great for lighting fireworks as well, especially
Ah,
sparklers. Sparklers are hard to light, so
ooh.
highly recommend it. The only issue is that my daughter apparently has a really fine sense of hearing, and it
Okay.
actually hurts her ears. It's like really high
Oh,
pitched. So like each time I use it, I don't hear anything. My wife doesn't hear anything, but she's like, "Ow!" So I guess you use at your own risk, but now I guess I have a cruel and unusual way to punish my daughter if I need to.
I, I have a few stories around that as well, but I'll save those for later episode.
Okay. All right. So, Jonas, those are our tools. Those are things that we use. We recommend using, or maybe we've realized that we just have gotten so sucked into it that we may use it because it's good enough for us. But those are our tools. If people want to contact us, maybe tell us some tools that we missed, or have suggestions on future episodes, how do they do that?
Oh, they should mock us for all the tools we missed on Twitter at XrmToolCast. Or if they want to be a bit more subtle, just send us an email, cast@XrmToolBox.com.
Awesome. It was good talking to you, Jonas. Have a
You
good one.
too. You
And
too. Take care.
I hope enjoy the rest of the summer.
Will do. Thanks.
All right, bye. This has been the XrmToolCast with Jonas Rapp and Daryl Labar. If you have any questions for Jonas or I, or suggestions for future episodes, please send them to cast@XrmToolBox.com or tweet to XrmToolCast.